Hey crypto gang, Nanicrypto here, coming back to you in 2019. I know it's been a few months since I've been away, offline. Unfortunately, I was in hospital, had surgery, had a family around for a few months and kind of been dealing with that. And now I'm back to my routine. It's been a very interesting few months in the crypto world. And just thought I'd do a quick video about my experience over the last couple of days and with Bitcoin doing a bit of a dip. For those who are new to the channel, welcome. I invite you to hit that subscribe button. Remember to turn on your post notifications so you can get a update or an email when we post our videos. And of course, remember to share this content with anybody who you think would benefit. As we know, this channel is about crypto trading, the ins and outs, the goods, the bads. But I thought the reason I wanted to jump on was because I had a very interesting situation happen to me over the last couple of days. And as the title of the video recommends, we are basically going back to basics. Back to basics means that even though it is a crazy market and even though sometimes it's difficult to keep the emotion out of it, follow your rules, whatever those rules may be. Everybody has different rules and different technical analysis indicators that they look at. Once you've set those rules and what works for you, you really need to use that as your rule to stick by no matter what. And I know that can be very difficult at times. So the situation we're going to look at is Bitcoin a couple of days ago. We were hitting. Now, so again, for those of you who are new, we're looking at tradingview.com. Great website for you to either use the free account and just use simple information or just what you get with the free account, or you can also get the pro account. You get access to more indicators and other cool things that the website has to offer. So we've been looking at this Bitcoin, we've been in this downtrend. This is going back to May last year. We're still in a downtrend. We did a bit of a try back in November, completely dipped. Down in December, tried to bounce. It's kind of just been going between end of November and mid-December, and it's just kind of been going sideways. Now, even though that downtrend hadn't hit, so for those who are using the BOSS method for the first time, we're using 7, a 77, and the 231. Basically, you can turn that on by going into your indicators, and you can look for the, haven't searched for it for a while. I think it's called the ultimate BOSS method. Ultimate. Where are you? I should know. Oh no, it's not. It's called Ultimate BK. Ultimate BK method with 2,000 people using it. So you can just turn those on, and that will help you to see what I'm seeing. And I'm currently using a daily chart. So we were seeing Bitcoin doing this turnaround, which was a nice stepping stone. We were hoping, but we also knew we had a very strong resistance back up at around 4,100, 4,200. So for us to, I guess, get out of the bear trend that we were in, we had to see close above that yellow line, which we didn't see. Okay, so let me set the scenario for you. So today here is Tuesday. Yes, Tuesday. So this is Monday, Sunday, Saturday. So Saturday I was looking at my charts and I had probably about, I think 7 or 8 coins. I tried to keep them under 10. And everything I had was green. I think there was only one, which was NPXS, but that's kind of like a long-term trade. And that one kind of goes up and down. So I thought, no, I'm going to leave that one. But everything else was green. I haven't had that in a very long time. And I mean, very long time. It's been quite a while since I've seen everything that I have in green, and it's been, as I said, because of everything that's been going on, I haven't even been trading all that much. However, even though all my trades were green, some higher than others, I was very cautious and very aware of this Bitcoin resistance. Now, that to me meant that if Bitcoin were to do a dip, everything I had, I would have lost, right? So going back, we're looking at February 23rd. Or I wouldn't have lost, but all the profits that I had made would have gone out the window. So we're going to look at 3 different coins. We're going to look at what I did, what the outcome was, and how I managed to, even though Bitcoin did a 11% retrace in a day, which, as most people in the crypto market know, that an 11% retrace could mean anything between a 20% and 30% loss in alts. It's absurd how quickly they dip when Bitcoin. Actually, Bitcoin still affects the market quite negatively when it moves like that. The percentage that the loss that I made, and I still made a loss, of course, because, like again, the dip was quite significant, was a 1.5% on my trades. Now, you guys are probably thinking that's very low, that's pretty insignificant compared to what Bitcoin did, but I'm going to explain why. So the number one, I guess, red flag was Bitcoin's hit a resistance. And to be honest with you, I made the changes that I made to my portfolio not based on me thinking it would go down this low. I thought maybe it would kind of hit, just using this horizontal rate, I thought maybe it would kind of stop there just because that was where it was before. But it obviously didn't, and it kept on going. It was about 3,850. So based on that resistance, I made the following choices. Okay, 3 different codes. Let's jump into ontology. So some of the rules, and I've already set up these different lines just so you guys know what my thought process was, and I'll go through and explain each one. I'm going to go down to the 4 hour. The reason I'm using the 4 hour is because even though I could use the 343, which is what we use for the boss method, I'm going to stick to the 4 hour because I know some people are using the free accounts. Now, when we say back to basics, we say, okay, number 1 rule, which we're using, is the boss method. Boss method says white above blue is a buy. Or white above blue, you know what to do. If we go back, we can see I had drawn this resistance at 1659, and even though it was already above so the way I've been trading lately is I've been, I guess, more cautious than usual just because Bitcoin hasn't been playing nicely, and I usually wait for it to clear a little bit before I jump in. Like, I don't like to jump in when it's gone up 1 or 2% above that blue line in some occasions. So I kind of was waiting for it to go through this dotted line that I had drawn, and that dotted line was created way back in December, and just a few times it had hit that resistance. So I thought, no, I'll wait till it cleared. Now that resistance hit, it made a 25% rise, and it just kind of sat there. Then we kind of saw this wedge kind of setting up. We have a wedge kind of there, and it was just kind of don't do that. It was just kind of sitting there. So I thought I'd try and catch it as soon as it broke out of that wedge. Unfortunately, it did that. I think it did that during my night time, and I missed it. So by the time I got back online, it had crossed it and it had already done one. So of course I couldn't jump in straight away. I try not to jump in on green candles or try to avoid it. So basically what I did was, on the 22nd, I decided to jump in. Now each of the yellow stars that you see is a sell. So let's see what my thought process was. Bought it on the 22nd, made a 17% profit. Hadn't made 17% profits in the ages, so I thought 17% profit. I was happy with the profit, sold a third of what I had, and waited. Again, I was seeing this step staring on the way up, higher highs, lower lows, and I'm like, this is looking good. Made another sale on the 24th of Feb. We go back to Bitcoin. Remember that dip started on the 24th. So it hits on the 24th. Yep, early morning on the 24th. So back to ontology. Hit on the 24th, and this was my thought process. So I'd love to remove all of this, but I can't. Obviously, that's where the coin is currently. And I said, okay, what am I going to do now? Bitcoin's just hit resistance, and I don't like to be greedy on my trades. So right now I'd made 17. Here I'd made, I think, like 26 or 27%. And I said, I'm going to let it ride. And I'll probably be happy with about 40%. So in this specific trade, I made 40%. I was happy with the trade and I jumped out. So some of the rules I followed, which are my basic rules, are don't jump in on a green candle, which I was very tempted to do here. And obviously over here, I waited for, a few corrections and for it to go sideways before I jumped in. Take profits as you go, which is a very important rule, because if you wait, say if you were waiting for, I don't know, 2,900 and never reaches, you're now at 2468, you've made a significant, you could have, not you've lost, but you've stopped from earning good profits. So I'm taking my profits as I go. And then once that line is set, whatever that line is, and we'll see in a few different charts, it's different. So normally what I do is when I'm trying to decide my stop loss, is I bring it down to the 1 hour. So what I did was when I sold here, I think my stop loss was here. I thought if it goes back down under that, that's it, sell it all. That never happened. It kind of stayed up. Then I made another one, and I think the other one was this one over here. So what I've been doing is, apart from the fact that I'm taking profits as I go, I've been moving my stop losses up. So it never sold here because it never went down here. Which, as you can see, there was kind of a line there. There was another one over here, never hit that. And then the last one, I think my last one was here. And I think it just missed it. But then when it hit that 40%, I went, oh, I don't know, I've got a couple of red candles, I should sell. And I did. So this was a pretty successful trade. We go back to the 4-hour chart and we see at how much we could have made had we followed the boss method to a T and done end to end. Could have made 80%, which was double that. Again, I was happy with my 40% and the trade was closed. So the fact that I followed my take profits as you go, move your stop losses up, waiting for things to clear before you jump in, and not just jumping because it looks like it's about to clear but it hasn't really cleared. Those were the rules I followed on this trade. Trade number 2. It went. Again, I had been watching the coin for a while. As you can see, this was going back to late Jan. Was kind of seeing it go sideways. Liked the fact that the 231 is pretty much flatlined, and that 77 is kind of gone. It's obviously spiked up during this last week, which I missed, and then it was starting to dovetail again. So started watching, keeping an eye on this coin. Missed this this call completely. I wanted it around again because I haven't been trading. I missed it completely, but I thought this coin could do another run. So here was my train of thought. My rule, again, back to basics, white over blue, you know what to do. Bought my coin around here. Sorry, around there, so on that red candle. Made my first profit at 8%. Wasn't anything big. This wasn't one that I was expecting miracles with, but I thought, okay, this seems like a good trade, so I jumped in, made my 8%. Now, this was another call that I made on that 24th of Feb. I said, okay, Bitcoin's hit. I went and set up all my stop losses, and I know that can sometimes be, I guess, not boring, but just it's just time consuming, I guess. And you kind of don't bother and you think, oh, whatever, I'll just wait till it. Trust me, I'm glad I didn't. So, made my 8% profit, set my stop loss, and went, okay, I think it should hold around there, or I want it to hold around there. As you can see from this yellow star, it didn't hold. I only made 4% on that second profit, but it continued to go down. So having set those stop losses, so in ontology, I made profits as I went because those stop losses were never hit. In AE, or in eternity, I ended up selling the coin, but it stopped me from losing another 7%. And I had already made profits. So I'd made 8 and 4. Again, those percentages, don't use them as hard, fast rules. Like before, I used to do, if I lose 5%, then I'm out. These days, I've learned to use the charts. Once it breaks that chart, it's on the way back down again, right? So that was what I decided to do. Now, I also wanted to show you one last example. Now, this example is about a situation where I followed the basics. I made my profits. I was happy with my profits. I was glad I didn't lose anymore. However, the chart turned around, and because it is now my Tuesday here and I've been working over the last couple of days, I missed the turnaround. So let's have a look at how not only following the rules and taking it back to basics is a good thing, but also keeping an eye on those charts that at some point you decided it was a good trade. Obviously, you've made your calls based on Bitcoin's movement, I guess, or what could Bitcoin potentially could do, and avoid you making losses, but also keeping an eye on those charts that you thought were a good trade. And here we are. So again, white over blue, I bought. Now, this was one of those charts that if I just scroll back a little bit, if I go back to show, this was, where are we? 6th of Feb, so it was early Feb. And if I look at where I bought, it had already made 16% in about 2 weeks. So I had been hearing people talk about it. I hadn't bought in, and probably around this area wouldn't have been a good time to buy in. But once that 7 cleared the 231, which is around here, and once that 7 had dovetailed, I went, okay, I'm ready to jump in. You'll see how I missed the spike, but how me doing what I did stopped me from losing at the time. Okay, so this is what we did. We bought in, white above blue, you know what to do. Made a 10% profit. Again, I'm making conservative profits based on Bitcoin movement. At the same time, so that was on the 24th, so that same day I said, okay, Bitcoin has reached its resistance. I need to set a stop loss. Looked at the chart. I think I brought it down to the 1 hour. And as you can see, that chart I used where it had kind of created a bit of a support, or I thought was a bit of a support, and I was out. So even though I'd made 10%, my next trade would be 5%. So I moved my stop loss, I made the profits, and I was out. Now, this is where we follow through and could have made another good potential buy. So when we're kind of following these charts that have kind of broken because of Bitcoin movement, keeping an eye on it will allow us to determine whether they are ready to go for a new run, I guess. When you do it on the 4 hour, it's quite hard because I guess, even though it used the 77 as a support and kind of bounced off it, because we are currently in a good zone, you could say, well, I'm going to hold on to it because my sell signal, which is white below the blue, isn't there yet. But again, I'm being conservative. So what can you do? You can bring it down to the 1 hour if you're running the free account, or the 77-minute, either way. And what you could do is you would have seen the white crossed under the blue. So you would have said, yep, that was a good trade. That's fine. then you would have seen it bounced off the 231 and it was back in. So if you had followed that rule, then you could have made another 18% profit from this trade based on those coins, based on that rule that we're using, which is the boss method. So that's the video, guys. I guess the important thing to note is, yes, Bitcoin can significantly impact the market most times. And I guess I just wanted to, share with you the experience I had, what I believe was a good trading practice of following my rules, of setting my stop losses, moving them up, taking profits, keeping an eye on Bitcoin. And once Bitcoin had hit that resistance, I went, yep, it's time for me to set those stop losses so I make moves. Now, I think out of all the coins I had, or I still have 3 or 4 left. The reason I still had those was because I didn't set those stop losses because they were longer term. And effectively, out of the 4, I think they're all kind of around 2-3% currently, still in the red. But they didn't have that big hit because they were coins that I had been watching for a much longer term trade. So I guess even though it can be disheartening when Bitcoin goes down, if you keep in mind that these are all cycles, and if you follow your gut and follow those basic tools that you have learned and that you have practiced, it will allow you to, make those profits as you go. And obviously by setting those stop losses, avoid any further losses. I really hope this helped, guys. Thank you so much for joining me and for watching the video. It's 2019, it's a new year. I know we're almost at the end of Feb, but I'd love to get you guys involved. If there's anything that you guys would like me to touch on, techniques, technical analysis, indicators, if there's anything that I've explained in this or my previous videos that you need help with, please let me know. Remember, we always have our YouTube channel, which is Nanicrypto. So make sure you jump on. We've also got some great content there for you guys. If you're a newbie and you know things about like how to use the Tradingview, and there goes the video on how to use Tradingview, things about how to set up the boss method, Fibonacci setup. We had done some live ones before the end of the year last year. However, I'm definitely looking forward to being more active with you guys and helping you out in this crazy crypto world. Thanks again, guys. I hope you enjoy the content. Look forward to seeing you soon. Happy trading, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.